Today, friends, we are talking straight up perfection, S tier, the best of the best. What is that doing there? No! No, yup. Hey friends, Ash here, welcome back to Gents. Yope is not allowed. All of you psychopaths still wearing it. We ain't talking Yope today, friends. We're talking 10 of the best fragrances that you can get today. And not just that, I'm giving away 5 of them as well. Still sealed, perfectly wrapped to one of you, courtesy of JOMASHOP. Of course, you guys already know JOMASHOP, you know the drill, big time discounter. I've got codes for them. Here are the codes. Use these codes when you shop there within the JOMASHOP app. They've got a sick Black Friday sale going on November 28th through December 1st. Big old discounts on a ton of different fragrance brands like Parfums de Marly, maybe you've heard of them. Yves Saint Laurent, Mind Games, Bond number 9. Valentino with the Born in Bromas, and also Lattafa, Afnan, French Avenue, and more. And the hookup is coming your way. I'm gonna let you guys know the fragrances that I'm giving away in today's video as well. Let us begin. The first fragrance, which is also one of the ones that one of you will win, Tom Ford Ombre Leather. This, one of the best leather fragrances out there. Also, the cap makes a great thumb popper. Nice. Guaranteed way to impress your date. Take her to see your massive fragrance collection, pull off a bottle cap and pop your thumb. If that doesn't woo her, actually just about anything would woo her better than that. But if that doesn't woo her, nothing will.
I'm impressed.
Ombre leather right here, fantastic scent, very smooth, supple leather. Great performance, nice dose of sweetness, not overdone, just a nice balance to the leather note that's in there. And this kind of like plays in the same ballpark as Tuscan leather, which came out before this one. But it's like Tom Ford went like, okay, Tuscan leather, you know, it's great, we've really got something here, and it is great in my opinion. But what if we made it just a little more approachable, a little more wearable for your everyday person? And then they came out with this right here, and it just absolutely crushed. One of the most successful Tom Ford fragrances ever, and for good reason. Ombre leather is amazing during fall and winter time, easy S tier. And like I said, that one is included in the 5 that one of you will win. Essentially, this is like a sick designer starter kit, or not even a starter kit, just like a sick designer lineup of fragrances. I'm telling you, this 5-pack of designers is gonna be something one of you is really happy with. The next fragrance, which is unfortunately not part of the giveaway, is Extra Dose by Valentino. Oh, and also if you're on TikTok, follow me there at Gents. I'm also doing some giveaways there as well. So just more opportunities to win. And each of those on TikTok are also 5-packs as well. So Valentino Uomo Born in Roma Extra Dose. This one right here, very pungent, very strong, but it gets attention in the right way. Because you can have a fragrance that's very pungent, very strong, that people just retch and they recoil from in horror. You don't want to be that kind of cologne guy or fragrance guy or whatever.
What is that? It smells like a turd covered in burnt hair.
This one does it the right way. It has a good amount of lavender in there. Also has kind of like a vanilla sweetness to it, though the note breakdown is very simplified with just 3 notes. Along with that lavender and the hidden vanilla note that's definitely there, but not officially, there are woods and spices. Yes, just woods and spices. Very particular, this one. The performance is fantastic. This stuff projects very well, lasts a long time. Easy to use in spring and fall, and also potentially summer or winter, depending on how much you spray on. Though definitely of those 4 seasons, summer is the one where I'd be most careful wearing this one. If you spray it on really heavy, you could choke some people out. All right, back to one of the fragrances that is being given away as part of this video, Y Le Parfum. Now this is the original Y Le Parfum. JOMASHOP has technically both this version and the newer version. And I imagine it would be okay if you wanted the newer version instead of this version, that you could get that one instead. For me though, being a sucker for discontinued fragrances, and also just in general really loving Y Le Parfum, I would go with the OG. But that's just me, that's just me. The new one is good. I'm not saying it's bad. I think it smells really nice actually. It's just, you know. Now this version of Y Le Parfum, it is quite similar to Y Eau de Parfum. So it's gonna give you that kind of sweetness with a little bit of freshness to take the edge off, make it more wearable. This one though is a little bit more grown up than Y Eau de Parfum, you know, slightly more buttoned up, you could say, but it still has that same type of versatility, that compliment factor, that attention grabbing feeling. It's gonna be more fall, winter, early spring, daytime or evening, even though the bottle is decked out in all black. So you would think immediately, well, it's gotta be a nighttime fragrance. Really, at the end of the day, it's a Y fragrance. And what I mean by that is it's made to be worn as often as possible. Killer stuff. The next one is not part of the giveaway. It's Beau Le Parfum by Jean-Paul Gaultier. I know, a lot of people out there are like, oh, but I really wanted that one. Don't worry, the other ones are good too. This stuff, absolutely killer during spring, summer, fall, and winter. It's another one of those fragrances made, manufactured to be worn pretty much whenever you want. Does have a good amount of sweetness, kind of like a creamy, tropical sweetness. So if we're talking middle of summer when it's really hot, potentially humid, at that point, I'd probably reach for something else. But summer evenings, absolutely killer. Fall, winter, spring, absolutely fantastic. So you're gonna get with this one pineapple, even a touch of iris, also coconut. That's what's gonna give it that creamy kind of tropical feel. Good amount of tonka in here, woody notes as well. Just an absolutely stunning fragrance. One of my most consistent compliment pullers over the past decade, really. All right, back to the giveaway. Let's go with this one up next. Dylan Blue by Versace. Now I know sometimes Dylan Blue gets a bad rap. I mean, not all the time, but especially when it first came out, a lot of people were like, oh, Dylan Blue, a boring blue fragrance, who cares? But at the end of the day, Dylan Blue can be your sidekick in any situation. These over here, a lot of them you can wear year round with like some caveats. Dylan Blue, no caveats. Wear it whenever, it does not matter. In terms of notes, this one has a good amount of citrus off the top. You have bergamot, you have grapefruit, some aquatic notes as well. Even has an interesting note of fig leaf in there, which gives it a slight different tinge, you know? It gives it its own little vibe. As it dries down, incense, musk, ambroxan, of course. Also a little bit of pepper and tonka as well. And there are other notes on top of those. So yeah, this came out before the whole 3-note note breakdown thing. It has some vague similarities to the discontinued Bulgari Acqua Atlantique, which at one point, that was another blue fragrance that had a kind of a cult following. People really liked it, but it didn't stick around too long. When I say people really liked it, it didn't stick around too long. So obviously not enough people liked it. But I'm talking about within like the fragrance community, a lot of people liked it. And it's not at all the same as Bleu de Chanel, but it does lean a little bit more toward that ever so slightly like classy edged blue fragrance, much like Bleu de Chanel does. The weirdest thing about Dylan Blue is actually that there's just Dylan Blue. No flankers, you know, no different concentrations ever came out, no Dylan Blue Elixir, no Dylan Blue Absolute. Basically, they just came out with Dylan Blue and said, yeah, it's good enough, I guess. That's the weirdest thing about it. But in terms of all year usability, stuff is great. All right, now a fragrance that is not part of the giveaway, and admittedly, I am very biased with this fragrance, and that's because it is South Slope. Now, this is a fragrance that I creatively directed underneath the Michael Malul brand. You can find it online at a lot of places at this point. A bunch of discounters carry it. You can also find it at Michael Malul's website. I think it's on Nordstrom's website. It's inside of Perfumania and fragrance outlet stores in the US, so you can find it all over the place at this point. And one funny thing about this fragrance, it has citrus off the top, but also black currant. Now you might say, well, that's not really interesting, but I bring that up because Ralph's Club New York, one of the big things that they said was this is the first release using black currant in a men's fragrance.
A black currant accord used for the first time ever?
And I pointed out at the time, you know, Aventus exists and a lot of other fragrances have used that.
Sure, it wasn't that big. Maybe that's why they forgot about it.
But also, this one has it, so Ralph Lauren gotcha. They don't care. This one also has kind of an ozonic vibe, has lavender in there in the mid, and then as it dries down, patchouli, sandalwood, and a leather accord as well. Now, in case you've never smelled this one, it is kind of similar to the Y line of fragrances. It's a little bit in that vein. If you spray them on side by side, you'll see a whole bunch of differences, but if you don't spray them on side by side, the first thing you'll think of when you smell this is, oh, it's kind of like the long lost cousin of Y Eau de Parfum or Eau de Toilette or something like that. This one is made strictly for versatility, for compliments, for ease of use, for boosting your confidence without really having to think about what you're spraying on, which is what I've always used it for. Basically grab, spray, go, and know it's gonna work. All right, another giveaway fragrance. This one is Stronger With You Intensely by Emporio Armani. Obviously, more of a fall wintertime fragrance. This one, not really one that you're gonna reach for in spring or summer, unless it's early spring and it's still really cold. Very sweet and warm. This one really helped jettison the Stronger With You line up another level to where it's now become one of the most popular fragrance lines out there. Most people will tell you the performance is very good, lasts a long time, projects quite well. And it's got that chestnut toffee kind of vibe that has become prevalent all over the place. You know, chestnut, vanilla, toffee, even hazelnut in some fragrances, that kind of vibe. This one really helped kick that off in a big way. The next one is not a giveaway fragrance, but it is another blue fragrance. It's Dior's Sauvage Eau de Parfum. Now I know when it comes to Sauvage, it's very trendy to hate on the entire lineup outside of maybe Sauvage Elixir. Sauvage Elixir is really good though, to be fair. And while yes, I think Sauvage Eau Forte is kind of a wreck, Sauvage Eau de Parfum, for what it does perfect. Bergamot, lavender, Sichuan pepper, ambroxan, and vanilla, some of the main notes here. The vanilla, really, really well done. It's not overdosed on vanilla. So this is not in the same vibe as any of those fall wintertime fragrances that I just kind of alluded to. Instead, what the vanilla does here is it just softens the edges a little bit. So instead of getting walloped in the face with this big blast of metallic ambroxan and pepper like the original does, along with citrus of course, this one kind of smooths it out. So you still get that Sauvage DNA. You still get that Sauvage vibe. You know right away it's Sauvage. It's just been essentially elevated. So the quality feels higher. As I said, it feels smoother, easier to wear. Instead of screeching and making itself known, you can wear this in situations that are absolutely dressier, you know, more formal occasions, and it's gonna fit right in. You also get great performance, huge compliment factor, pretty much everything you could want in a daily driver fragrance. That's what this does, and it does it again perfectly. Another part of the giveaway, Acqua Di Gio Profondo. This is the Eau de Parfum. Should have been like, yeah, let's give away the Parfum. No, love that. Ah! When it comes to Acqua Di Gio Profondo for me, the Eau de Parfum, easily, not even a question, the best one. And then after that, the Eau de Toilette, which is also pretty good. It's got a nice fresh opening, but it doesn't have quite the same robustness as the Eau de Parfum has. And then the Parfum, I don't really like. Now, if you love the Parfum, that is totally a-okay. You should wear what you want to wear. It's just that one doesn't really work for me. So this one right here, aquatic notes, mandarin orange off the top, has a really nice sweetness. It's not overly sweet, but it does have a little more of a sweet factor to me when you first spray it on compared to the original Acqua Di Gio Profondo, because this is technically Acqua Di Gio Profondo Eau de Parfum 2024. The whole thing. As it dries down, it's got a nice aromatic feel, some minerality comes out. Of course, it's an Acqua Di Gio, so it's gonna have this aquatic, watery freshness, this clean kind of aspect. And there's a hint of woodiness in here as well. Just an absolutely perfect fragrance for spring and summer, early fall as well. And when it comes to Acqua Di Gio, if you're gonna own only one, for most people, it's gonna be either this one right here, the Profondo Eau de Parfum, or Acqua Di Gio Parfum. Not Acqua Di Gio Profondo Parfum, just Acqua Di Gio Parfum. Those two, I think, are the absolute best in the entire lineup, and this one right here, along with the other 4 fragrances that I mentioned before, going out to one of you. So that's Acqua Di Gio Profondo, that is Stronger With You Intensely, Dylan Blue, Y Le Parfum, and Ombre Leather. But before we get to that giveaway, the final fragrance, which is this one, Coach for Men Eau de Parfum. Now I know you might look at this one and be like, Coach, like what, who cares? Well, in reality, the Coach for Men fragrances sell extremely well in the US. Not as well in Europe, but very well in the US. And the reason this is here is because, like it or not for the brand, the price on this will drop as time goes. It's a Coach fragrance. It's gonna drop. Knock on fake wood, Craig the table, is gonna drop. And the scent itself works extremely well in fall, winter, and spring. Not a hyper complex fragrance, not a hyper complex note breakdown. It's got cardamom, it has woods, it has leather, also geranium, vetiver, and a touch of citrus. It smells very similar to Sauvage Elixir, only much more restrained in how it hits your nose. Sauvage Elixir, much more aggressive off the top, very woodsy, spicy, it has that licorice pop. This one keeps it more a little bit warm, spicy, not as abrasive, and then a smoother, almost suede-like leather as it dries down instead of really popping you with those woods. Because the vetiver in here, the cedar that's in here is much more restrained. Now the performance is still good. It's not amazing, but it's good enough. And it's just a very nice, classy, cool weather fragrance that will eventually dip down to probably 50 bucks or so. And nowadays especially, I feel like having good designer fragrances that are on the newer side that dip down into that range is really nice. It's not there yet, but it will get there. And when I say that, I'm talking about the full 100 ml size. That one is still about like 70, but you can get the smaller size bottle for like 40. So if you're okay with the smaller size, which is like 40 mils, then technically it's already there. All right, guys, that is the lineup. That is the giveaway. Again, shout out to JOMASHOP. Make sure you check out the Black Friday and Cyber Monday sales that they have going on. I'll have them linked in the description where you can go straight to JOMASHOP and check all that stuff out. Now for the giveaway, I'm gonna do this one along with the earlier giveaway that I had on YouTube just a few days ago. If you missed that, it was a cologne fragrance list, and there are 5 fragrances being given away on that one as well. And then there are 2 TikToks with fragrances also being given away. So again, if you're on TikTok, follow me there at Gents and check those out to enter in those as well. So I'm going to announce the winner of this one and also the other JOMASHOP giveaway at the same time. I'll do it a week after this video goes live. If you want to be entered in the giveaway, like the video, be subscribed to the channel, leave me a comment below. And in the comment, let me know which of these 5 fragrances that are part of the giveaway you want to win most. Which, to be fair, you're gonna win all 5, so it doesn't really matter, but just so that there's, you know, a rule or whatever. I'll pick a winner with random comment picker alongside the other video posted up on the post tab of the YouTube channel, and then you can hit me up. I will pass your information on to JOMASHOP, and they will ship everything out to you. I wanna thank you guys for hanging with me here until the end. Stay safe out there, good luck with the giveaway. I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.